Listen to me very carefully. Right now, in this very moment, your life is speaking to you. And the question is not whether you're hearing it. The question is whether you have the courage to answer its call. Because here's what I know after decades of studying human excellence and spiritual mastery. Most people are sleepwalking through the greatest gift they've ever been given. They're trading their genius for comfort. They're exchanging their destiny for distraction. And they're dying with their music still inside them. But not you. Not anymore. Not after today. Let me share something with you that will change everything if you let it penetrate your soul. The life you're living right now is not an accident. It is a precise reflection of the rules you've been following, consciously or unconsciously. And if you want a monumental life, a life of deep meaning, towering impact, and unshakable peace, then you must install a new operating system. You must live by a different code. Rule number 1, fall in love with discipline as a spiritual practice. The world will tell you that discipline is restriction, that it's imprisonment. That freedom means doing whatever you feel like doing whenever you feel like doing it. This is perhaps the greatest lie of our modern age. Real freedom, the kind that liberates your spirit and unleashes your gifts, comes through discipline. Because discipline is simply remembering what you want most when you're tempted by what you want now. And here's the deeper truth that most will never understand. Discipline is not about controlling yourself. It's about loving yourself so profoundly that you refuse to betray your future for a moment of immediate gratification. When you wake at dawn while others sleep, you're not punishing yourself, you're honoring the sacred contract you made with your potential. When you choose the workout over the comfort of your bed, you're not being harsh, you're being faithful to the promise of who you're becoming. This is spiritual detachment in its most practical form. You detach from the immediate pleasure, not because you're cold or robotic, but because you're emotionally intelligent enough to know that the deepest fulfillment comes not from indulgence, but from becoming. The person you are at dawn, when the world is quiet and you're doing the work no one sees, that person is the architect of your destiny. Rule number 2, protect your inner world with the ferocity of a spiritual warrior. Your mind is the most valuable real estate in the universe. Everything you will ever create, every relationship you'll build, every contribution you'll make begins in the interior of your consciousness. And yet, most people leave the front door of their mind wide open, allowing any toxic thought, any fearful narrative, any limiting belief to walk right in and take up residence. A monumental life requires you to become the guardian of your mental and emotional space. This means you must develop the capacity for detachment, the ability to observe your thoughts without becoming them, to feel your emotions without being controlled by them. You are not your anxiety. You are not your doubt. Are not your past failures or your current circumstances. You are the eternal witness, the consciousness that observes all of these temporary conditions. When you master this detachment, something miraculous happens. You stop reacting to life and start responding to it. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and become the creator of your conditions. Move through the world with a centered power that others can feel but cannot name. This is confidence in its truest form, not arrogance or bravado, but a quiet knowing that no matter what happens externally, remain unbroken internally. Rule number 3, make your daily routine a sacred ritual. The quality of your days determines the quality of your life. This is not philosophy. This is mathematics. And those who build legendary lives understand that excellence is not an event, it's a habit. It's what you do at 5 in the morning when motivation has abandoned you. It's the choices you make when no one is watching and nothing is on the line. Your morning routine is not just about productivity, it's about identity. Who are you in the first hour of your day? The person who immediately surrenders to the chaos of email and social media, allowing the world's agenda to colonize your consciousness before you've even connected to your own? Or are you the person who claims the dawn as sacred time, using it to fill your cup so you can pour into others from overflow rather than emptiness? The ritual of rising early, moving your body, feeding your mind with wisdom, and connecting to something larger than yourself. This is not optional for a monumental life. This is foundational. Because in those quiet hours before the world wakes, you're not just preparing for your day, you're building your character. You're installing new beliefs. You're becoming the person capable of holding the life you say you want. And here's where detachment becomes your superpower. You commit to the routine without attachment to immediate results. You show up every single day, not because you'll see dramatic change today, but because you understand that transformation is not a moment. It's a compounding. It's the aggregation of small, unseen choices that over time create an unstoppable momentum. Rule number 4, rewrite your relationship with failure and adversity. Let me tell you something that might sting at first, but will liberate you forever. Everything that has ever gone wrong in your life was actually happening for you, not to you. Every failure, every rejection, every heartbreak, every loss, these were not punishments. They were teachings. They were invitations to shed who you were so you could become who you're meant to be. The people who build monumental lives have fundamentally different software when it comes to adversity. Where others see endings, they see beginnings. Where others see obstacles, they see opportunities. Where others see reasons to quit, they see proof that they're on the right path, because anything worth doing will test you. This perspective requires profound spiritual and emotional detachment. You must learn to hold your goals and dreams with an open hand, pursuing them with total commitment while simultaneously releasing your attachment to specific outcomes. This is the paradox of greatness. You must care deeply enough to give everything, but detach sufficiently to remain unbroken when things don't unfold as planned. When you develop this level of detachment, failure becomes impossible. Because you're no longer measuring success by external outcomes. You're measuring it by internal growth. Did you show up? Did you give your best? Did you learn something? Did you become stronger, wiser, more compassionate? Then you won. Every single time. Rule number 5. Serve something larger than yourself. Here's a truth that will transform everything. The pursuit of happiness will make you miserable, but the pursuit of meaning will give you both meaning and happiness. We have become a civilization obsessed with our own feelings, our own comfort, our own advancement, and in that obsession, we've lost the very thing that gives life its deepest satisfaction: contribution. A monumental life is not built on what you get. It's built on what you give. It's not about how much you accumulate, but about how much you elevate others. The richest people I know are not those with the largest bank accounts. They're the ones with the biggest hearts. They're the ones who've discovered that the secret to filling your own cup is to pour into others. This is where detachment reaches its highest expression. When you're serving something greater than your own ego, your own comfort, your own recognition, you become free from the tyranny of needing approval, free from the anxiety of comparison, free from the emptiness that comes from a life focused solely on self-interest. Find a mission that makes your heart beat faster. Find a problem that breaks your heart and dedicate your gifts to solving it. Because at the end of your life, you will not be remembered for what you bought, what you owned, or what title you held. You will be remembered for how you made people feel and what you helped them become. Rule number 6, build your life around your values, not your feelings. Feelings are wonderful servants, but terrible masters. They are important signals, valuable data points, but they should never be the pilot of your life. Because here's what feelings do: they fluctuate. They change with your biochemistry, your sleep quality, your blood sugar levels. If you're making decisions based on how you feel in any given moment, you're essentially letting a random number generator determine your destiny. Values, on the other hand, are your North Star. They are the principles you've consciously chosen to guide your life regardless of circumstances or emotions. When you're clear on your values, when you know what you stand for and what you will not tolerate, decision-making becomes simple. Not easy, but simple. This is emotional detachment as a form of leadership, leading your own life from a place of clarity and conviction rather than reactivity and impulse. When you're tired, your feelings will tell you to skip the workout. Your values will get you to the gym. When you're hurt, your feelings will tell you to lash out or withdraw. Your values will guide you to communicate with maturity and seek understanding. The detached person is not emotionless, they feel everything deeply. But they've trained themselves to create space between stimulus and response. They've learned to observe their feelings with curiosity rather than letting those feelings dictate their actions. This space, this pause, this ability to choose, this is where your power lies. Rule number 7, invest in your growth like your life depends on it. Because it does. The greatest investment you will ever make is not in real estate, not in the stock market, not in cryptocurrency. It's in yourself. It's in your skills, your knowledge, your wisdom, your character. Because unlike every other investment, this one can never be taken from you. Markets crash, industries change, technologies become obsolete. But who you become through dedicated growth, that's yours forever. A monumental life requires you to become a learning machine, to read books like your life depends on it, to seek mentors who've already walked the path you're on, to invest in courses, seminars, experiences that stretch you beyond your current capacity, to put yourself in rooms where you're the least accomplished person because that's where growth happens. And here's the detachment principle. Invest in your growth not for external rewards, but for internal expansion. Don't learn because you want a promotion or recognition. Learn because you're committed to becoming a masterpiece. Study because you respect yourself enough to maximize the gift of your potential. Grow because you understand that life is not a dress rehearsal. This is it, and every day you're not expanding, you're contracting. When you approach growth from this place of detachment, from external validation, something beautiful happens. You become unshakable in your commitment. You don't quit when results are delayed. You don't abandon the path when others don't notice your progress. You keep going because the journey itself has become the reward. Rule number 8. Cultivate relationships that elevate rather than tolerate ones that diminish. Show me your 5 closest friends and I'll show you your future. This is not metaphor, this is science. We become the average of the people we spend the most time with. Their beliefs become our beliefs. Their standards become our standards. Their conversations shape our consciousness. If you're serious about a monumental life, you must become ruthlessly intentional about who gets access to your energy, your time, your mental and emotional space. This doesn't mean you become cold or superior. It means you love yourself enough to protect your growth. It means you understand that compassion for others doesn't require you to sacrifice yourself. This is perhaps the most difficult form of detachment. Releasing relationships that no longer serve your evolution, not because those people are bad, but because you're committed to becoming your highest self, and some relationships will anchor you to an old identity. It's painful, it's lonely sometimes, but it's necessary. And as you release what no longer fits, create space for soul-level connections with people who see your potential and call you forward. People who challenge you to think bigger. Aim higher, love deeper. People who celebrate your wins and support you through your struggles. These are not just friendships, they're partnerships in mutual elevation. Rule number 9, master the art of being present while building the future. Here's a paradox that trips up most people. You must be fully present in this moment while simultaneously building a future that doesn't yet exist. You must appreciate where you are while refusing to settle for it. You must practice gratitude for what is while maintaining hunger for what could be. This balance is only possible through detachment. You detach from the past, not by denying it or suppressing it, but by learning from it and releasing your attachment to old stories that no longer serve you. You detach from the future, not by ignoring it or failing to plan, but by releasing anxiety about outcomes you cannot control. What remains is this moment, right here, right now, this breath, this choice, this action. This is where your power lies, not in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's worries. Here. And when you learn to bring the fullness of your presence to this moment while simultaneously holding a vision of where you're going, you unlock a level of effectiveness that most people never experience. The detached person works with intensity but without tension. They pursue goals with commitment, but without desperation. They're engaged with life, but not controlled by it. This is mastery. This is freedom. This is the hallmark of those who build legacies that outlive them. Rule number 10, de-empty. There is a cemetery somewhere in your city filled with books that were never written, businesses that were never started, songs that were never sung, love that was never expressed, gifts that were never shared. These treasures are buried with people who let fear, doubt, or the opinions of others convince them to play small. Don't let that be your story. You are not put on this earth to merely exist, to go through the motions, to check boxes, to fit in. You are here to contribute something that only you can contribute. You have a unique combination of talents, experiences, perspectives, and passions that has never existed before and will never exist again. What you're here to create, only you can create. What you're here to become, only you can become. This final rule requires the ultimate detachment. Detachment from the fear of judgment, the need for approval, the safety of conformity. It requires you to care more about fulfilling your purpose than about maintaining your comfort. It demands that you value contribution over consumption, courage over certainty, impact over impression. Look, I know this path is not easy. Living by these rules will set you apart. It will cost you some relationships, some comforts, some of the easy options that others take. But I promise you this, on your last day, when you're taking your final breath, you will not regret the risks you took, the hard conversations you had, the early mornings you embraced, the growth you pursued, the service you rendered. You will only regret the times you played small, the times you let fear win, the times you chose comfort over calling. So please, I'm asking you with everything in me, don't die with your music still inside you. Don't let your gifts go to waste. Don't reach the end of this beautiful, brief, precious life and realize you never really lived it. The rules are simple. Not easy, but simple. Discipline, mental mastery, sacred routines, reframed adversity service, values over feelings, relentless growth, elevated relationships, present moment power, and the courage to die empty. These are the rules for a monumental life. The question is, are you ready to live by them? Because the world is waiting for what only you can give. Your family needs the best version of you. Your work needs your genius. Your community needs your contribution. And your soul needs the fulfillment that only comes from becoming everything you were created to be. The time is now, not someday. Not when conditions are perfect, not when you feel ready. Now, this moment, this day, this life, make it monumental.